Welcome back to Caught Lookin. This is episode 6, and yeah, it's a tough one. The Guardians have officially been eliminated from the playoffs, but that doesn't mean the conversation stops here. We've got plenty to talk about from this season and a lot to look forward to in the offseason. Tonight, I'm joined by Kelsey, Ash, Sarah, and making her first ever appearance on the pod, Molly. Yay!
Yay!
Woo!
Yay, hi. So happy to be here. Finally.
Yes, we're so excited to have her join. So before we dive into everything tonight, I'm actually going to toss it over to Sarah because she's got some info about some of our new off-season content we've got coming your way. Sarah.
All right. Yeah, so I got a couple things here before we get started. First, since the Guardian season is unfortunately over, I did just want to take a minute to thank our listeners and to everybody who's followed us, engaged with us, and supported us so far. I think I can speak for all of us when I say that this has just been so much fun, and we're truly blown away by just how much the show has taken off. So thank you guys for continuing to tune in. Now, even though the guard season's over, we are still going to be regularly putting out episodes during the off season, and we have a whole agenda of things that we plan to cover, including some player deep dives, MLB season awards, winter meetings, trade talks, and a lot more. And if we have any Cavs fans or basketball fans listening in, I am excited to announce that Caught Lookin will be covering the Cleveland Cavaliers during their season, with our first ever Cavs episode dropping on October 20th, right before the season opener. So we will be mixing in some off-season baseball and basketball, and it'll be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys will tune in.
Yes, I'm super excited. During the LeBron years, Cavs were absolutely my number one team, and they still are. It's very tight now, number one and number two. Um, but yeah, that was I'm very excited to get into the Cavs. It flowed perfectly. But we are here to talk about the Guardians and the 2025 season. So I have a couple takeaways from the season. I tossed a couple of them on Twitter. Um, but if anyone else has anything, jump in. But I think the first thing, if you would have told me at All-Star break that we would have ended up winning the Central Division, I would have laughed in your face and kept laughing until September. Because that was just so outside of the realm of possibility at that point that we were going to take the Central. Um, that yeah, I still can't believe. At the end of the day, that banner is going to be hanging in our stadium forever, regardless of what happened in the postseason.
Yeah, I think we talked about it last time too. It's like back in July, so many of us were planning for 2026. It's like no one expected them to do this, and I feel like that's why this one almost doesn't hurt as much as it should because we went so much further than we were supposed to, we were expected to, and we saw our future. Last game of the postseason, season, however you want to word it, we saw a glimpse of what the future looks like, and it's bright. And I feel like it's really hard to be sad when we have so much to look forward to. I
Yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely feel like
absolutely
there
agree.
was. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Sarah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. This season has definitely been full of ups and downs, just very tumultuous. But like we were saying, we've written this team off at several points this year. And so many people, I think, like to chalk up a season as to whether it's a success or a failure. You really can't do that because there's so much that happened that it's really obviously it wasn't a huge success, but it wasn't an utter failure because of probably the whole month of September. So I think you just have to, take everything with a grain of salt and saying, hey, like this season wasn't a success, but it was still a really fun season. And I think we have a lot to show for it. And like you said, Ash, we got a taste of our rookies and just the future is so bright. And I'm so excited to just get more of them next year because I do think this team will be really, really good.
Yeah, there were some stretches throughout the season where I'm like, is baseball actually fun anymore? I am not sure. And then September happened, and it was like some of the most fun I've had watching baseball in a long time. And like it kind of renewed my love for it a little bit. And I think everyone was already excited for 2026 as we've been saying, but it really made me excited for 2026.
And I feel like, I mean, no matter what position you're in, whether you're a fan of the 2024 Dodgers or the 2025 Rockies, like everybody wants to see that championship at the end, but reality is only one team does. So if you're not going to be that one team, you at least want to end with, something to look forward to. And I think, not bias aside, I think we've got one of the best futures to kind of look forward to at this point. We got the kids ready. They've seen the big league, so it's a step ahead of several others.
Yeah, I mean, having Chase debut in the postseason, I mean, like that's something that no one can take away from us, like being risk takers and doing things that aren't really like the big competition would. Like, I just couldn't imagine the Yankees or Dodgers being like, hey, we're debuting some guy in right field today in the postseason. So it was really cool. And I was actually there for the last game. So seeing him like get a hit, even though it was really sad to see the season end that way, like you said, it's so bright for the future. Like seeing all of these young guys, like every player is younger than me now, except for like Jose. Like I'm 29 and I look up every kid's birthday and I'm like, oh, yep, that guy's 22. But it's awesome too, because it's like, I am so excited for the future and to see their careers grow and be able to actually witness that. So it was kind of a silver lining. I'm glad that Chase had a good game and, he didn't let the lights being bright scare him off.
Well, him and Valera, I was
Mhm.
impressed with both of them. They were
Yep.
putting up really professional at bats. For
Yes.
being their first time, Valera just coming up at the beginning of September, Chase debuting in the freaking playoffs. Insane that they could go up there and be as calm and level-headed as they were.
Hmm.
Regardless, I think there was one at bat during the series where Valera possibly, I think, stretched it to like 8 or 9 pitches or something like that. And I think he ended up striking out. But I'm like, that was a good at bat, man. Like you looked at the right pitches, you fouled off the right ones. Like it was good. So yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like they finally let the kids play and the kids are looking good. I fully believe that once we get especially Bazana up and running after I think his late season injury is going to delay his debut a little bit further.
Yeah.
I think if he would have stayed healthy, there was a chance that either we could have also seen him instead of unfortunately Delauder, we might have seen Bazana in
Hmm.
the playoffs debuting, but because of his injury. I think I my guesstimate is like late May, early June. I think it's going to be pre All-Star break. I don't think it's going to be opening day.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it's what happened
Yeah, I
to
think that
Chase,
sounds right.
but whatever he needs, I don't want anything to be rushed. Like, yes, we're waiting, but we have a lot of new blood. Like, there's a lot of things moving around already. So I don't think letting him rest and giving him a little more time, it's not hurting me at all. We've got plenty of other kids to shuffle around while we wait.
Yeah, there's plenty of people to figure out where to put them at this point. Unfortunately, we're in a weird spot where we just
Mhm.
have a lot of guys who can all play kind of like the same general positions and
The super utility men.
we're just going to be a team of Jose, Quan, a catcher, and then everyone else is super utility.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not a
My
bad
hope
problem
for
to have, but who do you say bye to? It's like we love all these guys. It's like there's too many of you, not enough spots.
although
Yeah,
the super
it's
utility thing is fun, I'm kind of just really hoping and praying that someone can just master right field and first
Dude,
base. I mean,
seriously.
like what a win that would be. But it is fun to like have players like Schneemann who can just run around the field doing amazing things at every position. So, it's a little bit of like Gardeswall is like players like Daniel Schneemann. So I don't know. I don't entirely want to lose that, but man, if we could just stop having all these defensive errors, I'll be so happy.
I like to think Jose too was probably a good kind of mentor for Schneemann because he kind of came up in the system the same way as a super utility player. And we all know what happened after that. And so I think sharing a clubhouse with Jose, he probably had a lot of good advice for him, being a new guy to the majors just from experience. So And that also just speaks to the clubhouse too. You know, for the future, I do think that we have the coaching, we have the veteran presence. If we do sign Hedges again, then
We're
I'll
signing
be
Hedges
even more
again.
confident. Right, I'll be even more confident. But I
We
think we do have all of the pieces in place. I really do.
Like I'm not even joking when I say that we're re-signing Hedges again. I'm like 99.99% that we are re-signing him. If you
I
follow
feel
me
like
on Twitter, I'm sure you've seen my diatribes and fights with people who seem to
I mean,
think
I feel
that.
like at this point, it'd almost be a mistake not to. Not just because, like, sure, he's not, Jose Ramirez, Stephen Kwan, like levels of hitting, but you can just tell, like, the guys trust him. They want to be around him. Like, he is your clubhouse guy.
Mhm.
And those guys are almost just as important, if not more important, than those power hitters that you have. Like, you need somebody to rally the troops, especially when you've got all these kids coming up. You need somebody there to, take them all under their wing. And I think Hedges is that guy.
No,
Right. He's
guys,
the
what's
one that led that players only meeting shortly
Mhm.
after the 10-game
Mm.
skid. So if it wasn't for him and the confidence that he obviously still had in this team, would they have performed the same way or would they just kind of chalked up the season as a failure and would we have gotten exponentially worse? So he's really just invaluable to this team.
No, but a backup catcher who can hit over 200 is what we need, guys. That's absolutely going to turn this team around. According to many people on Twitter, that's what's going to make the difference.
Well, I mean,
That's
at this
the
point, it's
missing
just
piece.
detrimental to not sign him because there's too, like Ash was saying, there's too many young guys.
Hmm.
There's, if we don't have Austin, if we don't, I mean, we have Jose, but it's like, if we don't have these older guys kind of, I don't want to say passing the torch because I don't ever want to see any of them leave, but I don't trust
Also,
Bo
they're only
to run.
33. Like they're not that old.
I know. I just mean like Austin Hedges' knees are probably made of sawdust at this point, but I don't trust Bo Naylor to call a high stakes game quite yet. Like when Austin's behind the plate, I'm like, I'm confident he can call the game. Is he an auto out most of the time? Yes, but you have to trade that off with his defense, which is kind of different with Bo. He doesn't call the game as well, but his offense is a little better. I would love somebody in the middle, but I think if you don't sign Hedges, then catching will kind of blow up, and you need to have a stable catcher.
Mhm.
Hedges isn't always an auto out. Just ask Scooble. 8.2% of Scooble's walks are Austin Hedges. That's a crazy statistic.
That is
Like
I'm so
probably.
that
scared of
I
him.
had to
I
read that 3 times. I was like, what does he know?
I
What does he
pray
have?
Andre not sent him that tweet. And I know he probably printed it out and framed it in his house because that is probably now the crowning achievement of his is that I am what, 6.8%? Is that what it was?
I think it's like
I think it's like 8.
8.3.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
Yeah.
that
8.3.
over 8. That's
Pitching around Austin
hysterical.
Hedges, fairs, of
Unreal.
course, dodging Austin Hedges.
That's hysterical. I hope someone, well, the Tigers are actually playing right now since we
I'm
are
watching.
recording on Sunday
Yeah,
night.
I was just about to check.
The next time Scooble pitches, someone needs Austin Hedges fathead right behind home plate.
He's
Just
pitching right
I
now.
think he's pitching tonight. Yeah, he's
yeah,
pitching
he is
tonight.
pitching tonight. Yeah, that's why I
Um,
was saying like,
yeah,
oh,
next time.
next time, next year.
Oh,
Anyone
next time.
anyone listening,
Gotcha.
you know what to do.
But
That's
yeah,
super funny.
I mean, aside from the fact that obviously I am a Austin Hedges super fan of all the people to be a super fan of, I don't know why my crazy brain latched onto him, but I one believe that that man will stay in Cleveland for the rest of his playing career. I believe they will give him contracts every year until either he is ready to retire or until Craig Albermaz gets poached. And then as soon as that bench coach, that right-hand man next to Vogt is open, that is the role that he is going to take. And
I
he
would love
will
that.
I
He's already
truly.
claimed a stake on it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure that like his you can see on the bench and like during like the post game stuff, the relationship that him and Vote already have and are already building. And I think that's another cool thing about having Vote so close to still being only like 3 years out from playing at this point. especially for the young kids when we were talking about earlier, having that veteran presence, because even though Vogt is their coach, he is still very, very knowledgeable about the game. As much as obviously we all love Sandy, he's been out of the game for, 20, out of the player side of
Hmm.
the game for 20 some odd years now, I think. I can't remember the exact year he retired. Um, but the game has changed significantly since then. So having a player coach, a former player coach, who is still intimately knowledgeable about how the game is played in today's roles is,
Hmm.
I'm sure, extremely helpful to these young kids.
Especially building such a specific brand of baseball that we play, like guards ball, you know.
Yes.
And that's something too. Yeah, we'll touch on that a little bit. That's kind of one of the biggest takeaways, at least for me this season, is just the sustainability of the guards ball offense. And, while it was a lot of fun, while it was enjoyable, at least for us, not so much for fans of other teams, they've made that very clear on Twitter. It's proven to just not be sustainable in the postseason because the big bats are unfortunately always going to win out. So, hopefully, with all of our rookies next year, if we can sign a veteran outfielder too, as well, we really do need that boost in offense because if we're being completely honest here, this team had no business in the playoffs with a negative run differential. I mean, we were, I think, second to last in batting average going into the
Yeah.
postseason. We were last, but I do think that the Angels ended up taking dead last. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I mean, you see those and you're like, yeah, something needs to change. While guards ball is fun, it can't be our identity moving forward, I think.
I think I saw somebody list out the statistics, and basically our pitching was in top five, if not top three, for virtually every stat, and our offense was bottom five, bottom three for every single stat.
Right. And the
Yeah.
pitching is what led us through that September
Hmm.
surge, honestly. I mean, those were record numbers those guys were putting up. And we're lucky that our offense put together a decent amount of runs from those games, but it was our pitching that carried us, and that's obvious.
God
When
bless
I
Carl Willis.
actually sat down and thought about all the adversity that the pitching staff faced this year, how did we do it? It's actually pretty crazy. I mean, obviously there was Ortiz in Class A, but then I was looking at all the injuries we had, and I don't think I realized how many there actually were. So the fact that the pitching factory is truly alive and well after all of those setbacks, like, way to go, us. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah, we've always been known for our pitching, but I mean, it was on full display this year. So it was very, very fun. And I do think that we have a lot of questions coming up next year with Ben Lively coming back. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but John Means also has a club option for next year.
He
So
does.
we're going to have kind of an overflow at the starting pitching position. So I'm thinking Cantillo might move to the bullpen.
I mean,
But
that's
yeah,
what they were trying to
Was
do with
my
him this
first
year.
thought.
right. And I think that would be great. So it's obviously a good problem to have. You can never have too much pitching, but it does present some interesting questions for 2026.
So I was going through because I was curious. I originally thought Slade was going to be a free agent in the offseason, but I don't understand arbitration. So I studied and I think I figured out arbitration. But then I also figured out that we only have three free agents in the offseason, Lane, Junis, and Hedges.
Mm.
Um, so it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, I'm a lock that Hedges is coming back. I don't know about Lane and Junis. Lane could be an option for a kind of like prove it deal, a 1 year, like, can you make it through? Since this year was just so tough on him,
Yeah.
they might offer him, a 1 year to see, like, can you keep it up? Are you going to get re-injured? How's that foot doing?
It's hard with that injury too because it's one that you don't necessarily heal from.
Yeah.
It's always going to be there. It's just a matter of is it bothering him just a little bit today or is it really bad today?
Yeah.
Because it's It's pretty frustrating. I mean, I'm probably the only person who has a Lane Thomas guards jersey, so obviously I would love to see him back. But
I say
it's
he just had surgery, right? Or because he was in a
he
boot, wasn't
did
he, during
very
the
recent.
playoffs?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
recent.
So it'll be interesting to see
But
how he heals from
yeah,
that.
Yeah, does
yeah,
surgery
definitely.
fix plantar fasciitis or is it just like a band-aid?
I honestly have no
I have
idea.
no idea.
I
Too
think,
bad Allie's not
and I
here.
could be completely wrong. Yeah, I think it's just it doesn't fix it, but it makes it more tolerable. If I
Mhm.
understood when I looked at, because I looked it up.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it just makes it more tolerable. I don't think it's one that you can like fully 100% like make better.
Well, and to cap off the like wild card series wrap up, I was at the last game and seeing Hunter go out there and I don't like using the word like bad words for it, but he like imploded is the nicest way I guess I can say it. But it's like, okay, it was 6-1, but with our offense, it was like knew that it was over. And I think that's what's difficult is that the pitching has picked us up so many times. And this is the same with like 2023, like Tito's last year, is that we just can't put together the offense every year and the pitching just carries. And it's so frustrating because that's putting it together is that the pitching is usually what does not save you, especially in the bullpen. And we've always had such great opportunities, but unfortunately, our hitting just never really comes through. So I felt really bad for Hunter in that moment because he was obviously gassed and the whole pitching staff is gassed. But it just felt at that moment, it was like, there's no way that we can score 5 runs. Like, I don't even know if would have scored 5 runs in a series, basically. I know that we had a great
Yeah.
second game, though. And it's like, that's what's frustrating. It's like, oh, we had like home runs, Bo Naylor and Rocchio. But if it's like it starts out poorly, it feels like we can never pick it up mid game. And that's what sucks.
Right. And that's something too, looking back at 2024, picking it back up after starting off the game in a hitting slump is something that we were so good at because we had Josh Naylor and Jimenez who, provided that for us. And I think we were kind of lost without them this year. And I think our offense took a huge dip with the exit of those two players.
I agree. And the pitching around
100% agree.
Jose is such an issue. I don't, everyone thinks that maybe he didn't show up in the playoffs, but they were actively pitching around him because they knew that Kyle can't do anything right now or he just wasn't making contact. So if you just pitch around Jose, you walk him or Jose's taking risks and he strikes out, you neutralize the threat. So it's really frustrating to know that we couldn't have our best hitter show up because everybody played us right. I mean, Detroit just knew exactly what to do. It's like just don't let him hit the ball and it won't be a problem because the next guy's not going to do anything if Jose is on base anyways.
I
Right.
like
I think from
distinctly
playing
remember.
go ahead,
Sorry, go
Ash.
ahead.
No,
Oh,
you're good.
I'll be quick. I distinctly remember. I think it was the second game. It was like whenever the game was tied, it was 1-1. It was early innings. I literally felt like it was over because I was like, the second Detroit scores another, there's no way. Like, can we overcome just one run? Like,
Yep.
it was just. It's so frustrating to see that. And then you see games like today. Like, I don't know if you guys watched the Toronto Yankees game.
I did.
Toronto
I
hit
did.
5 home runs. Like, that's what you need. Because yeah, the Yankees came back. They scored 6 or 7 quite in just 1 or 2 innings, but Toronto maintained that lead because they also kept hitting. That's just something that we couldn't figure out this year, and the pitching can only carry you so far.
Shout out Ernie Clement.
Right. And going back to Kelsey's point about the Tigers pitching around Jose, playing the same team for 3 series in the span of a month, you're going to figure out how to pitch to the opposing team's best guys. That probably was a reason why Quan was in an uncharacteristic slump of his too. If you're not getting production from your two best hitters, Quan and Jose, then there's no way you're going to win that series. So I
Hmm.
think they did unfortunately figure us out. And like I said, Stephen Kwan he was just popping everything up. And so that didn't help either. You can't get your leadoff guy on base. So that kind of just sets the tone, I think, for a lot of those games. And it just, nothing really went right at the plate. And also going back to, the small ball not being very sustainable. If we were to move on and play Seattle, we would not be winning those games. I mean, despite them only having what, like a handful of hits last night. I didn't watch, so I don't know, but you can't expect to win games against Seattle, against, teams like the Blue Jays or the Yankees if they were to move on to the ALCS. It's just you can't win that way. And so, like I said, while it was fun, while it lasted, it we proved that the big bats will win out.
We would have got our
Yeah,
butts whooped by the Blue Jays if we had to face them. They would have
after
just
watching today's game,
murdered
absolutely.
us.
100. I was
My
like, wow.
God.
It's like
As a
they can't
Hitch,
Yeah,
it
stop
has
hitting
been
home runs.
delightful.
I
Like,
would really like to know what is going on that, granted, I don't know exactly how Andres or Ernie or Miles are doing hitting wise right now. But I mean, Ernie did hit his first at bat of the game, hit a 2-run home run. Miles was on base for the grand slam, I want to say. So it seems like they're doing better. Ernie is 100% doing better there than he was in Cleveland, and God bless him. Loved
Well,
him while he was here.
Miles had one of the best defensive plays in left field that I think I've ever seen him have. I was like, who is this Miles Straw and why weren't you doing this here? I was like, I was kind of
He did
offended.
it for one
Good for him.
year. He managed because he did get an extension.
Mhm.
He did. He showed us what he was
He
capable
did get
of,
an extension.
and then yeah,
well, I
just
don't think
I
his
was just like,
defense was ever the
wow.
problem, but
yeah.
mhm.
he is still performing better overall
Yeah, he
in
looked really
Toronto.
good.
Right.
Yeah.
He was a Gold Glove center fielder for us, but Toronto must have an amazing hitting coach though, because Jimenez had a couple hits yesterday. He's had a relatively well season. Miles Straw, Ernie Clement, they've all been hitting the ball. So you look at that and you're like, what was their problem in Cleveland? Was it really just lack of hitting coaches, or like what made them kind of unlock that in Toronto? I mean, it's great to see them hitting and playing well, but it's like, man, what could have been?
Yeah, it's a bummer to like you said, love them. In fact, I'm super happy that they're doing well, just as long as they don't do it against us next year. Just- but yeah, I saw a couple people, trying to figure out and talk about it on Twitter and about how, our hitting coaches. I mean, obviously there's something in the way we are coaching hitting is eh, not encouraging power, not encouraging home runs, not encouraging it's that, slap hitting shit goblin bullshit guards ball that we
Right, we can't develop bona fide power hitters. And that's been a problem with this organization for years. So is the problem just really within our farm system? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I don't think so because I feel like we heard like all of these kids are hitting bombs when they're down there. Like either that or we're just like
That's true. Yeah, they just can't do it up here. So
we're just a team of quadruple A players.
yeah, there's just a gap there somewhere, and
Yeah,
I
I
have
mean
no idea where it is.
there is a significant gap between AAA and the MLB. Like obviously there's that jump is not small. So I understand that. But yeah, it's I hope they figure it out.
That's
I
why
hope,
it's so nice to see, like, talking specifically about CJ Kafis and Chase DeLauder here, see them come up and still kind of maintain those really good at bats, getting hits like Kafis having his granted, I think he grounded out, but his first RBI at his first at bat or something like that. And just seeing those kind of successes, it's like I don't want to see them regress because the coaching is different up here. So I kind of hope that continues. Maybe that's a good trend moving forward if they can maintain, their at bats like that. But
I'm
you
wondering
never know.
because the hitting coach that they brought up, because mid-year the hitting coach got hired away to like Purdue or something to like a college, I think. And so they brought up the AAA hitting coach, I believe, to fill his spot. So I'll be interested to see if they keep him, or if they go out and look for a new one, um, to fill that spot and how that affects everybody. Um, that does kind of lean into because again, this was something that I saw some people discuss on Twitter and stuff that um, a couple years ago, we kind of changed our drafting strategy and we started looking for more power bats and, hitters. And so and those guys are now, those guys that we drafted are now, that's who you're seeing come into the major leagues right now. That's Kafis and that's Valera and that's these kids and Bazana, obviously, who are going to be coming up here. So I'm going to be interested to see over the next like 2 years or so as these kids make their ways up into the majors, if that made a significant difference, if that drafting strategy is actually working, and if our guards ball kind of play by play changes at all, and if we do actually find power finally.
I mean, I'm looking here at the payroll, and I know it comes down to this every single year of we don't have a big payroll. I'm looking at the active 26 man payroll for 2025. The top five are the Dodgers, the Mets, Philly, the Yankees, and the Cubs. So out of the top five, the only one missing from the playoffs is the Mets. And they just had an unfortunate sort of collapse near the end. I mean,
They
they were
just
in
missed
the
it.
hunt for the entire time. Toronto is seven, Boston was 11, Seattle 12, Detroit 14, Milwaukee is 17. So it's like we were the major outlier. We're 26 on the active payroll. So it's in Cincinnati's 19. I forgot that they were eliminated quickly as
Very
well.
quickly.
Well, that's also, so like I said, when I was going through all the contracts and stuff, part of that is also because we currently have 26 guys still in arbitration, like either pre-arb or in arbitration. So they're all making like, a good chunk of them are making league minimum right now. The only people we have on signed contract are Trevor Stephan, who we have through 26 with a 27 and 28 option, Jose, obviously, and Bybee, who's through 29 with a 30 option. John Means has an option for next year. And then we've got Kobe Allard, which I didn't even realize he's up for, I believe, the end of his arbitration is next year. Then we've got seven guys, including Stephen Kwan, who are in ARB through 28. We have nine guys in arbitration through 29, and we have another nine guys in arbitration through 2030. So that chunk, that 28, 29, 30, is going to be a really rough time
Yes.
trying to figure out how to get through arbitration with all these guys. Especially if anyone, like, some of them are probably still just going to be making like close to league minimum, but there's a couple of them that could, come through and, demand the money because, Stephen Kwan was able to get his arbitration amount up, I believe, if I remember that right. Because I think he's
Man, whatever it
making,
is, just pay him. Just pay him,
Yeah.
man. I swear to God, just pay Stephen Kwan.
He
I
literally,
am
there was a
begging you.
quote. He just said, he's like, I want to sign a long-term
I did
deal
see
in
that.
I
Cleveland
saw
and
Yes.
I want
that.
to win a World Series. I said,
He's my favorite
blank
player.
check,
The
blank
man wants
check,
to be
whatever
here.
he wants.
He
Yeah,
is
so
a
he
Can be a
generational
leader
talent and
here.
he wants to be here, so pay him. Find a
he
way, just make it
Like,
happen.
not all small market teams get as blessed as we are to have Jose Ramirez and Stephen Kwan want to be here. If
yeah.
we blow that in any way, I don't think we recover.
So we avoided arbitration with him in the offseason this year with just over a $4 million contract. So that's what he got paid this year. And then he's going back into arbitration this year for probably, I would guess, a similar amount because he didn't have it was a decent year, but it wasn't a
Yeah.
stellar year that could demand more money. Um, so that'll be interesting to see what how that goes. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of guys who we're going to be negotiating through arbitration with over the next couple years. And there was I think this was on Sport Track that I was looking at, but there was a chart at the bottom that said in 27 there are going to be 20 total players going through arbitration. In 28 there's going to be 26, and that includes like, every single guy who's on like arbitration year 2, 3, whatever. 26 guys in 28, 22 and 29. And then that chunk in 28 could come out to like $200.2 million as to what potentially they could pay out if they decided to keep all of these guys. And that's not even including like the fact that one of them could have a breakout and demand more money like, Quan did. I don't know if demand is the right word, but
Well, that's what's frustrating though, is like if we have anyone that does well, everyone becomes scared that they're going to get traded for something else.
For
So it's
draft
like we never
picks.
want him to do too well. Like everyone was kind of glad Stephen Kwan didn't do great because they're like, oh wow, maybe we don't have to pay him as much, or maybe we won't trade him now. It's like, no, I don't want that. I just want them to do well.
I think the asking price for Kwan was still pretty high. I forget who it was. I have to look
Oh
into it.
yeah, no, during the trade deadline, they were like, we're not
Yeah,
getting rid of Quan unless it's for something like crazy, which that was
it was
nice to
pretty
know
clear.
once it was over, but
Yeah,
it is still like, oh my gosh, I don't want to keep doing trades. Like I want to keep the guys here that are good. Like I want them to just sign. And I
you want
get,
to build around them.
yeah, exactly. I get that trades help you build later, but we have such a good farm system. We have so many guys coming up, so you need to keep the guys that are already established here instead of trying to rebuild the clubhouse from the ground.
Yeah, and especially since a lot of these guys have literally been together since like double A. Like
Right.
there's a good chunk of these guys who have been together for that long. They grew up together. They're like basically I mentioned this last week or 2 weeks ago that they held a birthday party for Fry's daughter and like most of the team showed up for it. Like
Mm,
they're all really tight. So yeah, and
yeah.
and I know like the vibes were probably scary during free agency when the rumors about Quan were going around.
Hmm.
So yeah, like at the end of the day though, I we can't
I just
I
want to
hate
put all that
it.
chatter to rest
I
about
know.
hypothetical trades and about how does he want to be here? Oh, well, I heard he wants to play out in California. I just want them to extend him so that we can just put all of that to bed and be like, look, he said he wants to be here.
And I
We
don't think
have him
that
for X amount of years.
I don't think that the California thing was actually established. I think people are just assuming because he's from the West Coast, he's from
Yeah.
California.
Right,
But
Yeah.
exactly.
I
Not
I
only
don't
that,
know.
but
I'm
I
tired
feel
of
like
it too.
Dodgers fans also will just assume that anybody whose name is in free agency talks is a Dodger. So, no offense
Literally.
to any Dodgers fans that listen to this, but
Yankees fans do that
just
too. Those two,
oh, don't even get me started
they just like
on
pull the country apart
them.
and they're just like, I'll take all the
Yeah,
East Coasters, you
they're
take all the
just as
West
bad.
Coasters.
I
Oh
saw
yeah.
someone today say that no one has it worse
No,
than Yankees
literally.
fans.
Oh, I saw
I
that
So
quoted
too.
it
them. I
was a
Same.
Yankee
quoted
fan that
them.
said that, I assume.
It
Yes.
was.
Nothing but
I was
pain
like,
since
you guys love to talk about the
2009.
27 rings. Yeah,
Oh.
because I quoted with that. I said, you love to talk about the
Yes,
27 rings. What's
that's where I
different
saw it.
now?
Yeah. It
I
was
said,
your
what
quote tweet.
changed?
They don't know what
I'm
Anyone
true
always
think about
pain
the
is.
Yankees?
I'm always beefing with them. It's so fun.
Part of me wanted to retweet that with a jerk off gif or something, but I'm like, I don't want to fight tonight. So
They're just so easy to like. You push a button and it's so easy. It's so fun. But
sometimes I'm just not in the mood. Oh, but yeah. So yeah, it was a weird year. I just don't know
Yeah.
how else to put it. I will say, I think I mentioned this last week too, but I think Vogt is a shoe-in for winning his second in a row Manager of the Year award.
if
I
he doesn't, I'll buy the pitchforks. We're
I don't
marching.
see how you can come back from a 15 and a half game deficit and win the Central. Like again, these are regular season awards. What happened in
Mhm.
the postseason does not matter. Our
Yeah.
collapse last year didn't matter in the ALCS. So like yeah, I think that is I can't think of any other
And
manager.
even so, they still made it to the postseason.
Yeah,
So
Mhm.
like,
exactly.
Hmm.
yeah, there's no one else.
I think my husband said, he was like, I don't think he gets it this year because why were you back 15 and a half in the first place? Like you have to manage yourself in the bad and the good. But I think facing that adversity and coming out of it is what the other managers did not do. So it's like I get that maybe it looks bad on paper and in real life that we were back that far, but to be able to pull this team out of that, especially with all of the young kids
Hmm.
and the payroll and the injuries and all this. Like, I do
The
think there is
gambling.
something special. Yeah, like I said this, I think 2 weeks ago. It's like, I don't know about other clubhouses, but this clubhouse, it feels really tight. It feels really close. And I don't think you pull yourself out of that without a manager that truly cares about his players and
Mhm.
players that care about their other players and their city. So I think I agree. I want him to win. I'm not sure if he'll go back to back just because I don't know. I feel like there's probably some sort of bias going into it, but I'm hopeful for him. I think he deserves it.
You also do have to look at the like because that's all very fair, but you have to also have to look at his the roster that he worked with. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, sure, he fell 15 and a half back, like it happens, but like half of those guys are like they don't play together often, they're young. So I feel like you can credit him there. But
And he was moving around. He was moving guys around all throughout the infield too, with all those utility guys we were talking about. That's a lot of position managing that he had to do, and I think also bullpen managing too. I think he did a great job with that. So he kind of had a lot. He had his work cut out for him, really, and I do think that he did a great job with what he was given.
I'm really
and Grayson,
interested.
we
I
just
think that
No, sorry.
there,
Go ahead.
we like all
I'll go
five
quickly.
talked at
I
once.
was gonna say that I was gonna say that there is some room for criticism. I mean, his platooning got exhausting for us, I think for sure. But Ash, you were saying that he took he started with almost nothing. Like compared to the other teams, like it's it goes back to that Jose Ramirez and then raccoons in trench coats joke. Like it's amazing that he did what he did. And I don't know. I think maybe it'll depend too, like how the rest of the postseason shakes out. But I can't think of anyone else in the AL who would deserve it over him.
I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like at this point, like specifically, and my bias is coming out again. I love Daniel Schneemann. I feel like Vode could literally say, "Go coach first base," and Schneemann be like, "Yes, sir, on my way." Like I feel like having those kinds of guys makes it a little easier for him to manage that kind of situation. I mean, granted, we didn't necessarily like all of the rosters that he put out, but sometimes those rosters or lineups where we were like, "What is this?" Those are the lineups that won.
Oh yeah.
So
It
it's
was
like,
it was
that's,
always like those fuck up lineups that you're like, there's no way. And then they blow them out. And it's like,
mhm.
you what?
I know.
How?
Like that's
It
the
But
would
on
be
the
point.
like, oh,
flip
he's
side,
punting
he'll
the
put all his
game.
best guys in for one game and think, "Oh, we're gonna score 10 runs. We're gonna blow them out of the water," and they get like 2 hits.
Wasn't
Yep,
that like the
that's
last game of
exactly how
the
it was.
game three? Like everyone was like,
Yes.
this lineup fucks.
This is the
And we're like,
lineup
I was
we
like,
Oh
want to
yeah.
I
win.
literally said, I was like, this is the most beautiful lineup I've ever seen. We're
We're
losing today.
losing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I
It's
said, quote, "This
happening.
lineup positively fucks," and I was fully prepared to eat my words.
I say I do think I think for like the past 3 or 4 years in a row, because I remember a couple years back, the guards, the Cavs, and the Browns, all of them had the lowest average age on their roster. Like I think this was like back in maybe 22, I want to say, just very, very
Mm.
young teams. The other Browns and Cavs, I think, have gotten older, but I think the guards have possibly gotten younger. Like I remember
Probably, honestly.
the my favorite stat was that the major league team of the guards was actually on average younger than the Columbus Clippers. That was
Oh,
like a year
wow.
or two ago. That stat came out was that
Was
yeah,
that a joke or was that like
no,
an
that
actual
was a
stat?
real stat that
That's
the
crazy.
average age of the Cleveland Guardians, like I said, I think it was 23 maybe. Um it must have been because or not Hosey, but Austin wasn't there. So he pulls the age average up.
We are
Um,
four. We are
That is so funny.
26.7 as our average age.
oh,
So
that's older than I
Colorado,
thought.
Miami, and Washington are younger than us in average, but we are still number four.
I
I'm
knew
sure it's
Washington
Austin
was
Hedges
young.
pulling it up.
Well, what surprised me too was that one, Slade Ciccone and Joey Cantillo are the same age.
What?
That one threw me for a loop for some reason. I thought Slade was like in his late 20s and I
Yeah,
thought
he looks
Joey was in
older.
his early 20s, but they're both like 26.
Our
Joey has
oldest
such a
player's
baby face, though.
33.
26.
Yeah.
They're both 20. I'm fairly certain they're both 26.
I'm looking this up.
So
I
yeah,
Yeah.
like
refuse to
the
believe.
Guardians' oldest player is 33 and the
Yeah, it's
youngest is
Austin.
23. So it's like the oldest player on the Dodgers is 37, the oldest player on the Cubs is 40, the oldest player on the Yankees is 38.
Well,
So
Carlos
it's like
Santana was doing a lot to bring that average up.
Who is our youngest at 23? Is that Angel Martinez? Because I know he was a lot younger than I thought he was. But who's the 23-year-old? That's what I want to know. I'm
Might be
pretty
on here.
sure
There's
it's
probably
Angel
multiple
Martinez.
of them. I think when I was looking up the
True.
age of some of them, I was like, oh, you're 23. Oh, you're 23.
Angel is 23. He was
Yeah.
born in
I think
2002.
John Kenzie is like 23. Or he's
Is he that young?
oh, he's 24. He just turned 24 in July.
They're all
It's
babies.
crazy.
23
Brian
being born
Rocchio
in
is 24. Like
2002
all of
is
they're all
crazy.
babies. They're all
How
little, just little guys.
Petey Halpin's 23
I
too. I just
Petey
looked him
I
Halpin
up.
was
was
just
just
gonna
born
ask
like
about
4
Oh, yeah, I
Petey
was
days
gonna
ago.
Halpin.
say, yeah, Halpin on Hell.
Kfis is 23.
Yeah. So
Oh,
it's like
Kafis
we
is a
are
little bit older than I
literally
thought.
just a couple years removed from all of these guys being in a frat. So it's like,
It's a frat house. That's
yeah, so it's
exactly
like
what it is.
the fact that they have gone to
Do
the
they have
playoffs
frat
is
dads like they have
absolutely
sorority moms?
mesmerizing.
Frat dad is Austin Hedges.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
That's what's like, I cannot imagine like Carl speaking to these people or like, how are you managing 23-year-olds? Like, I can't even imagine what their jokes
He's
sound like.
texting them at 1 a.m. telling them how
Yeah.
impressed he is. I really think that these kids keep him young, and that's why he's staying here.
They're Gen Z, you guys. They're technically Gen Z, and that doesn't
No,
sit right
stop
with
it.
me.
Shush. No. I don't like it.
Yeah, did not like that.
Yeah.
Didn't like that.
Like, this is the first generation of baseball players that has grown up fully on the internet using like iPads. Like, is there's Schneeman, that funny picture of him or video saying, like, thank you for all of the YouTube subscribers. It's
I'm
like,
really
what the
upset that
heck?
his YouTube name didn't take off more than it did because I thought that discovery was going to change everything because
What was his YouTube name?
it was like Vats Prime or something, like
Ooh.
VAZT or something.
He was like a Call of Duty legend.
Like he
That's literally
legitimately.
my one of my best friends is a Mets fan, and I've like slowly gotten him into the guards, and he has picked Daniel Schneemann as his favorite player specifically because he 360 no scoped that guy on Call of Duty. Like he
Wow.
was a legend apparently. It's like didn't know my goat had it in him. I guess.
Yeah, PJ Homick on Twitter, PDOTJDOTT, earlier this year in June, posted a video, a clip of one of Daniel's old YouTube videos. Daniel Schneeman, aka That's Prime, VAZT.
Okay, we're
Yeah.
doing an off-season deep dive into Daniel Schneemann's YouTube channel. Stay tuned.
We're gonna watch all of them.
And need to
Make reaction videos to Schneemann's YouTube channel.
know what this man's
No, you're breaking
brain
up a bit.
consists of at this point.
You're gonna have to repeat that, Ash.
I didn't say anything. I'm breaking up though.
Yeah, a little bit. It's okay.
Um, I do think that I don't know. I keep coming back to the payroll, and maybe that's like my axe to grind. But this is a good point that somebody made on the Cleveland Guardians Reddit, which I don't frequent very often. But this person says that the Rockies have $30 million more on payroll than the Guardians. And obviously, they just narrowly escaped a record breaking season. So that always brings me back to the positive of like, bigger, and like the Mets, bigger payroll doesn't always equal a better result. I think the Mets were pretty fun to watch, although I went to the Cubs and Mets game right at the end of the season, and it was quite thrilling to watch as the Mets blew the Cubs out of the water. Lots of home runs were hit. It was very, very exciting. So while I think I like guards ball in our product, I do agree with Molly that guards ball is hopefully a trend that we can end soon and we can make up a new meaning for guards ball.
And just a new team hashtag for 2026.
Hard
I
for
would.
guards.
Hard for guard.
Academy hard for guards. That was
There
for
it
the
is.
postseason. We can keep that one rolling into the next year.
I'm down.
Imagine if
funny.
MLB starts posting hard for guards.
That's what we need to make for next season, that is something we need to put on top of the list. We need hashtag hard for guards to be posted by the MLB X account.
Well,
We
that's
need to get
exactly
the
how
logo at the end of
How
it.
the Guards Ball hashtag was created.
Exactly.
We just made that up ourselves and it
I'll
just
make
took
that my
off and
mission.
admin tweeted it and pretty soon it became the team hashtag. So let's do
And
it
make
again.
anything happen, just if we believe.
But yeah, going back to team payroll and just continuing this future outlook, I did want to reference this article that I read by our friends over at Covering the Corner, written by Quincy. It pretty much outlined a couple different paths that the Guardians can take in 2026. And the first option is to keep things mostly status quo with a couple low-level signings similar to Matthew Boyd, Ben Lively, and really lean into the rookie's development. And option two would be re-sign Hedges and Lane Thomas, but trade Quan, Bazana, Arias, Logan Allen, and a couple more prospects for more of a compete now approach. And a couple guys that they had mentioned as a return for that trade would be Ketel Marte, Taylor Ward, who was actually on my trade wish list a couple episodes ago. But if there's any scenario where we can still get those guys and keep Stephen Kwan, that would be my best case scenario personally. But I did think that it was interesting to read about those two options because I do think they would either take one route or the other. And from their track record, I can almost guarantee that they'll take option one just to lean into the rookies' development, keep things mostly the same, just have a couple low level signings like a decent outfielder and maybe another bullpen arm or something like that. But I thought it was interesting to discuss if anyone had any other ideas or any other routes that they think they'll take.
I cannot imagine them trading Bazana. That feels extraordinarily short-sighted.
I think the city would ride at dawn if we traded away our first #1 draft pick.
Yeah, before he even had a chance to get up here. I don't see that happening. There are a lot of things that surprise me about this org sometimes. But that one would literally blow me out of the water as a like speechless moment.
Right. And it
Um,
doesn't have to be Bazana. It could be maybe like Brito. But I did think that
Hmm.
those were maybe aside from Bazana, those were some decent trade targets, I think, especially Arias, Logan Allen too. I really can't see them fitting into the roster next year. So it
as
would be
much,
great if we could find a buyer for them. I just don't know if we can.
yeah. I think, I mean, like looking at this, the list of all the guys who are on contract and in arbitration and all that stuff. Part of my thinking was that at some point we're going to have to package a couple of these guys just for money's sake and and offload them for like, one big bat probably. Like I think that's probably the way to go. Grab kind of like an opposite like Clevenger trade where we trade three or four guys and get back one or two kind of moment, but working in our favor better this time than it worked in the favor of the Padres. Because regardless of the fact that a couple of those guys are not here anymore, we still won that trade handily.
Oh, for sure. We won that trade just by getting Austin Hedges.
No, I
If it were
fully,
just a
yes.
straight up swap for Mike Clevenger for Austin Hedges, we still would have won that trade.
Oh, no, I mean, again, I could talk about the man forever, but I fully agree. And also, I mean, really, there's a interview he did a little bit ago saying that getting traded to Cleveland really changed his trajectory and how he felt as a player. And coming here, he made a conscious effort to change the way that he interacts with his teammates and change the way that he plays the game because being drafted by his hometown team straight out of high school was a lot of pressure that he put on himself because he felt like he had to be that guy. He had to be the dude. And aside from like one good year, I think in like 2018, he didn't end up being that guy. A fantastic defensive catcher, but obviously not the offensive threat that everyone had originally thought he was going to be. So
I just
truly,
remembered we got Josh Naylor in that trade
yeah.
too.
Hmm.
How did we fleece them that much? I mean, was Clevenger, am I really just that forgetful, but was Clevenger that good of a pitcher? Or, I mean, I know obviously Josh was a lot younger then and this was before he broke out, but I'm just thinking, wow, like we fleeced them with that trade.
We really did. It was Naylor, Hedges, Quantrill.
Arias,
I think were the three that were major leaguers. And then we
Wow.
had
Am I?
Arias and Cantillo. Um,
we got Cantillo from that too?
yeah, I think he was
Get
a
out
player
of
to be
here.
named Blair.
Wow.
Wow.
We won that trade in
Oh
a
yeah.
dozen different ways.
Cantillo is the last one to to come up from that trade, I believe.
I
But yeah,
think I have a
we
hard time thinking too far into the future with like trades and stuff because I just like what's going to happen with Clase and Ortiz. I mean, we just got Ortiz from a trade, and Clase's worth after this, I can't even imagine we could get a lot from him, what we would have gotten for him before the start of the season. So it's hard for me to see too far into the future without knowing what the roster's going to look like. I just I don't have high hopes. I feel like because it's been so long already that something is not right. I feel like they're waiting till after the World Series though when it's the true off season to be like, "Okay, here's all of what we found." But it's really frustrating as a fan if they don't find anything and they just like wasted a lot of our season to not
And
rock the
wasted the
boat.
trade deadline.
Yeah.
yeah, really,
Right. There's
really
no telling who we could have gotten for Class A.
I mean,
Yeah.
We
especially
could have
because like
gotten,
he during the trade deadline, like he was our trade piece, and then all of a sudden he's out and he's suspended. Next in line, Stephen Kwan. That adds more stress, and now Bieber's gone because of it. It's just like it all domino effect because of that. So if they just reinstate him, which I don't know that they do, but it's like at
I
the same time, say they do you want that kind of a person back in your clubhouse? Like we saw how the team almost got better once they were gone. It's like, do you want that kind of, energy back in there? But
and Ortiz too. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, you're fine. I was kind of just flowing into who's going to take them, if not us.
And Ortiz too, because we were talking about kind of the logjam of pitchers that we'll have for next year. If he gets cleared, then he's going to have to be put into that rotation somehow too. And he was pitching really well
he was doing really
before he got
well.
suspended. And he's also
Mm-hmm.
really young too. I forget how old he is, but when I looked it up, I remember saying, wow, he's that young and he's
26.
been 26. Okay. Yeah, so that's just another big question mark too. And I don't know why it's taking so long because when the whole thing happened, I thought, okay, they're probably going to have to go through every pitch they've thrown, not only this season, but at the end of 2024 too, especially for Class A, because that's when, he really started to implode. So I figured, okay, like that's probably going to be what really slows this process down. But you would think if they even find evidence of just a single pitch, that would technically be enough to ban him for life. So I feel like if they haven't found anything by now, then maybe that's a good sign. Maybe they're just really desperately trying to find proof, but I don't know. I could be completely wrong. It's such a big question mark, and I hate just not having a timetable for it either.
Yeah, that's
It's
why
weird
I'm
'cause
just
yeah.
so nervous and I just don't want to think ahead because I'm like, I don't know the severity. If it's this severe, like banning them both for life and looking at not just having like betting accounts, but like actively betting against themselves, a ball is a ball. Like, I get it. That is like, seems like a silly, arbitrary thing, but that like that's baseball that can change the entire trajectory of a game. So
Hmm.
it wouldn't only like hurt me just to have them off the team, but it would like hurt me personally to know that they weren't really into it, like into winning the games as much as everybody else. So that's why it's like I don't even want to get too ahead thinking of like what it could be just because the MLB is being so very shady about it. So
And
I
what's
just get a bad feeling.
yeah, what's weird too is, any other situation, I feel like they've got figured out so soon after.
Yep.
And this is just like radio silence. Like I feel like they didn't even talk about Otani's whole thing with his translator for
Yeah,
very
they're keeping
long.
their
It was
cards
just
very close, and
yeah, and
it
that's
could
what
go either
it's
way.
very
There's so many
stressful.
unknowns with this. There's so many unknowns.
I do have a funny stat that I just looked up that we actually, when we are eliminated, we had a positive run differential of 1 + 1. We won the Central with a negative run differential, and in our last 3 games, Detroit -1 run differential, and we had +1. So that just tells you
We're
a
leaving
lot
here with
about
something.
that
That
tells
is
you a
guards
lot
ball.
about guards ball, a lot about baseball, and how things change so very quickly.
That's crazy. A +1. Like I said, we're leaving here with something.
We ended the season in the positives. We're good. We're good.
Yes.
Okay, so who do we think is going to win the World Series then?
I mean, right now I'm mostly hate watching because I'm in full basketball mode, but I do like the Blue Jays and I do like the Brewers too. I think that they're a fun team. I think they're similar to the Guardians, so I would be fine with either one of them winning, especially since Toronto has a lot of recycled Guardians. So that's probably who I'll be fine with either one of those two teams probably.
I agree, honestly. I think those were my two that now that the guards are
I
out, I
think
was like, I could be happy with a Blue Jays Brewers World Series and happy with either of them winning at this point.
see I'm kind of going similar but a little different. I kind of want, Seattle and Milwaukee because neither one of them have won before. So no matter who wins that final, somebody's making history. So I think that'd be a pretty cool matchup. Plus Josh Naylor fan. I gotta support Josh Naylor.
It's kind of that would be kind of like a the Cubs guard series from 16 where like
Ugh.
no matter what history was being made that night. Like
Mm.
just
I
unfortunately
think
not the right history.
Not the
I
history I
am
want to
also
remember.
going. I'm also going for Seattle because even though I love that there are so many guards on the Blue Jays, I'm still holding a grudge against, was it Gossman who,
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
who
Hmm.
hit
Who hit
Jose
Jose?
in that series? So
He pitched last
I
night.
don't know that I can pick them as my number one, but I won't be mad about them, I guess. It's just nice to see some like fresh blood basically in the World Series.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'll take Seattle. I'll take Blue Jays.
Yeah, I think I agree with Ash. Like making history is very cool. I like the Mariners because Luke Rayleigh actually went to Lake Erie. So it's kind of cool that there would be like a hometown boy winning a ring. And I do think the Dodgers are probably going to go back. So I think it would be cool for like David to defeat Goliath would be cool. But I do like Brewers and Mariners. I think history being made either way, like that is something beautiful that everyone can kind of root for, especially if the big markets aren't really in it anymore. Then everyone just kind of picks a team and we all have fun instead of fighting.
As long as it's not the Dodgers or Yankees, man.
Yeah,
I can't
exactly.
take another
Yes.
World Series with
Oh
those
I
my
two.
can't
God.
do it.
Especially
Yes.
these Yankee fans who claim that nobody has it worse than them. Like get out of
They
here,
are
man, with
always
your
the bridesmaid,
27
never the
rings.
bride lately.
Mm. As someone who grew up in the 90s and 2000s, just fuck all the way off. Like, I cannot deal with these Yankees fans that are like, oh, no one has it worse than us. No,
Weh.
just shut up, please. So we did a poll on our Instagram this yesterday and the story just expired, but we, asked our followers who you got in the world's or who are you rooting for the rest of the playoffs. And for the AL, the about half of the voters said the Mariners.
Mm.
Following up with about a third of the Blue Jays and 3 votes for the Yankees, no votes for the Tigers. So
Everybody
Wow.
passed.
a
That's
good set of
true hate
haters
right
on
there.
Amazing.
You
for
will
the
never see me
NL.
root for someone in our division. Never.
Ain't no way.
Bad blood.
You and Franmel's eyebrow for sure.
For the NL, we had 75% of the people are going for the Brewers in the NL. 22% are going for the Phillies and a single vote for the Dodgers, no votes for the Cubs. So
Another
again,
successful fate.
generational haters. I really, really appreciate Cleveland fans.
I have
That's
to respect
hilarious.
that. I have to respect that.
I'll have to
Yeah,
share the
that's
results
amazing. Oh my
tomorrow, but
gosh.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very impressed by the amount of haterade that the Cards fans consume.
Death, taxes, and never forgiving the Cubs.
I'm getting that tattooed.
It's beautiful.
Give
All
me
right.
50 years and I'll never forgive. Even though it was our fault, but it happens.
It was the rain's fault.
It
I
was the
truly
rain.
It's
I
the
truly
weather.
believe that that rain delay was God in heaven, if you believe, saying, I can't decide who is going to win this game. And so he had to take a moment and think about it because
Can I tell you, every rain game the next season like had me traumatized.
It still
I
does.
it's so I
It be
still
your
think
own
about
city.
dome, dome, dome.
it.
Yeah, we don't need to rehash that.
All right. Well, I think that is going to be a wrap on episode 6 of Caught Lookin'. Big thanks to Kelsey, Sarah, Ash, and a huge welcome to Molly for joining for her first episode.
Yay.
I had so much fun. Thanks.
Yes. So even though the Guardian season is over, we are just getting started. We've got some fun off-season content coming your way, like Sarah mentioned at the beginning of the episode. So keep an eye on our socials at Caught Looking Clee on all the places, and make sure you're subscribed to your favorite podcasting platform. So thank you, ladies, for joining me. And whether you're here for the hot takes, heartbreaks, or home runs, don't get caught looking. Go Guards, go Cavs.
Go Guards, go Cavs.